Hello everyone, how's it going? It's Shadows Woman. I have the new free week champion rotation for you guys for League of Legends. This week we have a Mumu, Anivia, Veigar, Caitlyn, which I have no idea why Veigar is before Caitlyn, but anyway, Renekton, Vayne, Fiora, Zac, VelKoz, and Braum. So we're going to go through the list from top to bottom as usual, alphabetical order, and I'll tell you guys the general role you can expect the champions to fill, the lanes you can expect them to be in, and the items you can expect them to have. So, let's get on with it, shall we? First, we've got Amumu, who he's fallen out of favor just a little bit, but not so much. He's primarily going to be built tank with a little emphasis on some ability power, so maybe, I don't know, Landry's Torment, pretty standard on him for whatever reason. And Abyssal Scepter is always going to be good for him because he's going to be up in close quarters with everybody. So that'll certainly help him just due to the AP from Abyssal Scepter plus the magic reduction it gives him. It'll help his ult hit a little harder, help everything he has just hit that much harder. Yeah, he'll primarily be played in the jungle. He might be played top, but 99 out of 100 times you'll see him in the jungle. Again, build pretty tanky with Sunfire Cape, the Abyssal Scepter, maybe get a Warmogs of Sunfire Cape. I said a Randuin's Omen's gonna be good for him. Pretty tanky items with some health in there as well. Maybe even a Wireless Crystal Scepter. But other than that, yeah, moving on. We've got Anivia, who she'll be played 99 out of 100 times in the mid, built as AP. You can expect items such as Rod of Ages, an Archangel staff on her, a Rabadon's Death Cap, Zanya's Hourglass. Your standard AP mid items you can expect to see on her. And yeah, that's really it. Not much to say about that. Moving on. Next we got Braum, who pretty underrated, but at the same time a lot still call overpowered. With his abilities, he's one of the tanks where you do pick up health items, so Sunfire Cape is almost a must. But at the same time, he won't be playing or being played as top. He'll be playing support at bottom, much like a Leona would. So Sunfire Cape pretty much a must. I would recommend just a little bit of AP on him to help his ult. Not too much. Maybe just go for, I don't know, go for an Iceborne Gauntlet. That certainly helps Braum. When he can't hit somebody with his Q, it'll still help him with that slow, help his teammates catch up and whatnot. So that's definitely almost, in my book, a must for him. But yeah, other than that, your standard tank support items. So your Runic Bulwark, get, that Randuin's Omen, get Sunfire Cape, maybe get, I don't know. Again, this is just off the top of my head with this one, Thornmail. It's all kind of personal preference. After you go ahead and get, that Sunfire Cape, and again, in my opinion, one of the best items for him is that Iceborne Gauntlet. But yeah, again, 99 out of 100 times you'll see him played as support in the bottom lane. Moving on, we've got Caitlyn, who she'll be paired very nicely with Braum, actually. So she'll be going bottom as the ADC, getting items such as Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, maybe getting a Last Whisper. That's always a good item for Caitlyn. Maybe getting that Phantom Dancer. And that's pretty much her solid build right there. It kind of varies from there on out, depending on what you need. You could always go for that second Bloodthirster, or maybe get a, God, what is it, the Reaper Scythe? It's the new ADC, or the new AD item they added where, it gives you like 60 AD, and your attacks restore percentage of your missing mana per hit. That's pretty good for her. I would say it's decent on her, not the end-all be-all, but it's fairly decent and fairly good. A Phage would definitely be recommended for Caitlyn. Maybe turn that to a Trinity Force. That would help a little bit, but not so much. But again, the core items for her, Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, and go from there. And again, 99 out of 100 times ADC in the bot lane. Next, we got Fiora, who she'll be played mostly in the top lane, building items such as well, I'll actually go over her and Renekton. They share pretty much the same item pool. Ravenous Hydra is good for both of them. They're both going to be in the top lane 99 out of 100 times. Renekton may jungle, but you'll mostly see him in the top lane. So, Ravenous Hydra, Sunfire Cape, and Black Cleaver. 3 standard items for both of them. And then from there, it varies just a little bit. For Renekton, you might want to focus a little more on health, whereas Fiora, you might want to focus a little more on, attacking. You're not going to get crit items on either one of them. So, Phantom Dancer is pretty much out of the question. But getting an item such as, I don't know, again, that Randuin's Omen that I come back to time and time again, it's going to be good for both of them. Help slow, give you that survivability you need, and hey, you know what? It'll help. Just trust me on that one. It'll help. What else? Renekton, you could get maybe a Frozen Mallet. Same thing with Fiora. A Phage is definitely good for both of them as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for their standard items. And again, you can expect to see both of them in the top lane, with Renekton maybe going to the jungle. But again, very, very, very similar item lists. Next, we got Vayne, who you'll be getting items. Well, first of all, she'll be in the bottom lane, playing the ADC, and the items you can expect to see on her: Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, Infinity Edge, maybe going for Static Shiv, or most likely Blade of the Rune King. Give her that, it'll help with her passive. So, yeah, those are pretty much core items on Vayne. And then again, it can vary from there. Maybe get a Guardian Angel, what have you. But yeah, those are pretty staple items. And again, 99 out of 100 times, she'll be the bottom lane. Next, we got Veigar, who, just like Vel'Koz and much like Anivia, they'll be played mid lane as AP. And, they share kind of similar item pools, just not to the same extent. Veigar and Vel'Koz, I would recommend getting, Rod of Ages and or, going for the Tears of the Goddess, turning that into an Archangel Staff to get the Seraph's Embrace. After that, for Vel'Koz, I would recommend an Athene's Unholy Grail. For Veigar, same thing. But, that's kind of, actually, too, Rabadon's Death Cap and, Zanya is definitely going to be good for both. But Vel'Koz, I would recommend also picking up a Landry's Torment. And for Veigar, I would recommend picking up, the Deathfire Grasp. That's going to help his overall burst and help Vel'Koz, respectively help you'll help Veigar's overall burst and Vel'Koz's overall sustained damage once he starts doing that pure damage due to his, his passive. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. They'll be played in the mid lane. And again, pretty similar item lists, just a little variation. And last but not least, we got Zac, who will be played in the jungle most of the time. He can be played in the top. I have seen it happen. He is pretty decent at that. But most of the time, he'll be in the jungle. Items you can expect to see on him will be Abyssal Scepter, Sunfire Cape, just like a Mumu, pretty much. A little emphasis on AP with more of an emphasis on your survivability stats. So health, armor, magic resist. The bigger health pool you have, the, I guess, taller Zac appears in game. Much like Cho'Gath with his Feast. But, yeah. So, Sunfire Cape's definitely pretty much a must for him. What else? Maybe get a Crystal Scepter? That's like a 5% chance to buy. So, it's not very high up there on the tier list on what you want to buy. If you're just going for shits and giggles, yeah, might as well go ahead. But if there are better items you can buy, go ahead and get them. So again, Abyssal Scepter, Randuin's Omen, Sunfire Cape, what else? Warmog's definitely going to be good for Zac. Again, that item's fallen out of favor a little bit due to Blade of the Rune King, but it's still pretty good. Maybe a Frozen Heart, even though Zac doesn't have mana. It's still going to be good because he's, just like a Mumu, going to be in the thick of things. And you don't necessarily want to be able to, or you want to take hits, but you also want to be able to have that nice aura that helps your team out. Which, Amumu has that kind of passively, whereas Zac doesn't. So, yeah, that'll help Zac just a little bit more. But yeah, that's really it on the items I know that are good for Zac. If you guys have any other items that you think would be good for any champion in this rotation, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below saying, what item you think is good for which champion. Obviously if it's going to be a troll build like AP Vayne, don't bother. But if it's a legitimate thing, then go ahead, post it. Maybe help a couple of other league players out. But yeah, guys, that's it for this free week champion rotation. My name has been Shadowswalm. I will talk to you all next time.